Hi again. Here we are. Let's try and wrap up this slideshow. Maybe it might have to do more than this video, but we were pretty close to the end. So far, we've got our slideshow running, right? Let me refresh it there, right? So every 2 seconds, the slides go, and they take 1 second to slide from the right to the left. I got some error here. Let's go find that too, right? So anyway, we've got that. And then also we have a problem where, oops, I put the I there. This should be the index, right? We have a problem where the width of the slides is kind of hard-coded into our slideshow function, right? So what can we do with that, right? Let's talk about fixing this thing first, because that's going to be a problem. And actually, just to illustrate that, and to illustrate another feature of what we've built here is, why don't we make a second slideshow, right? And then that one you'll see where this problem comes in, and then we'll talk about fixing it, right? So remember, if you wanted to add a second slideshow, you could add another div. And you can give it any name that you like. I'll give it an ID here. Let's call it slides 2. And then every slideshow needs to have a class of slideshow, okay? And every slideshow needs to have an inner div with the class name slides inner. Oops, slides inner, okay? So it's got to match this one. It can have its own unique ID though, okay? And then all the images for the slideshow will go inside the slides inner. So I'll add a new image tag, and I'll set the source to images / this time I'm going to choose the smaller pictures, right? So these, how about this P1 300 by 169, or maybe I'll get yeah, maybe I'll do this one right here. I'll do the hellebore pollen, and this is 300 with a height of 169. Hellebore, right? So I'll put the alt in there. Maybe I'll just copy this and it'll be a little faster, right? So I'll make another image here and change the file name, and we'll get this little pollen here. Or li pollen. And I think I have a couple more at this size. So let's see. Maybe we'll do pollen. I hope nobody's allergic, right? And then we're almost done here. We'll add a fourth one. And spores. And actually, let's add a fifth one, right? Because the slideshows this has 4 slides in it. We should be able to do any number of slides. So maybe it's good for us to test 2 slideshows with a different number of slides, right? So we'll do this last one here. Okay, so now that's pretty good, and this guy's all set up. And if I was to look at it in the browser now, actually, wait, I gotta, oh yeah, I forgot, I need to give this thing a height and a width, right? So remember, that was another feature, is that, the developer will need to set the height and width. So I'm gonna say slides 2, you're gonna have a, we could leave the border off too. Maybe I'll leave the border off this one. I'll give it a width of 300 pixels and a height of 169 pixels. Okay. Oh, there we go. So there's our slides there. Now these aren't sliding yet because we haven't given them the JavaScript, right? So to initialize our slideshow, after we've kind of set it up this way, so anybody would set this up, and then their last step would be to call make slides for that ID name. And so we've already done it for slides, and so now we'll do it for slides number 2, right? So I'll run it now. Oh, so this is kind of working, but did you notice the whole thing slid off, right? Because it's sliding 1200 pixels, but the slides down here are only 300 wide, right? So how are we going to fix that? Okay, so when we start our slideshow, we've got a reference to our slides container, and we've kind of made this deal that the developer is going to size the slides container to the size of the slide, right? And then we're going to use that as the width that we move the slides to the left every time we cycle, right? So we need to find out how big this thing is. So what I'll do is I'm going to go in here and make a new variable, and this can be a constant because it's not going to change. And I'll say width. Maybe we should say slide width. How about slides width, right? So it'll be the width of the slides, right? And what I want to do is I want to say slides dot client width. Okay. And there's a couple properties. You can use offset width also. I'm going to use client width, and that should give us the width of the area including any padding. Okay, so we'll take this, and then let's see. So now that we've got the width here, we can use that in place of this 1200 number. Now we've got to keep the negative because we want to slide to the left. If the number is positive, it's going to move to the right. You know, so we'll set this here to, and then I want to put the variable here. So I'm going to use slides width in place of this number, and slides width in place of this number. Okay, so let's save that. So now it'll be negative slides width times index, and then we'll see the same value here in the console, right? So let's take a look. So I'll refresh, and maybe I'll even open up the console here, and yeah, it looks like it's kind of working, right? And I can see the numbers here, right? So the first slide is negative 1200, the second slide went negative 300, and then the next slide went negative 24, and the next one was negative 600, right? So this seems to be working correctly, and this one is also working, right? And this one also has 5 slides, so they're a little, there's a few more here, right? So hey, that's pretty good. So there we go. So we got, slides.clientWidth to get the width of something. So maybe we want to measure something, and there's a few other things that we want to do with the slideshow here, right? So we'll continue those in the next video, but this should cover setting the width. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you have any questions, please post them to the console or to the comments.